Okay, I want to review the laws of exponents, if you want to call them that. Anyway, I just want to review what we went over in the first exponent video, which dealt more with factoring. So if you had x to the fourth and you needed to factor it, I was showing how it could be factored more than one way, just like something like, let me get a piece of paper here. Just like, 40 can be factored, 8 and 5, 2 and 20, and then continue factoring. So you can start out different ways of factoring the same number. Well, the same thing's true with exponents. And I showed you in the previous video with grouping symbols how, oops, I did that too fast. I meant to group it this way. Ignore this one. Okay, so just ignore that one there. Anyway, so this grouping symbol shows that x to the fourth could be factored x squared times x squared. And then this grouping symbol shows x cubed times x. So that helps when it comes to factoring and reducing fractions, for examples, when you need factoring. Okay, so now let's get into some of the rules of exponents. Okay, first of all, let's say we want to multiply 3 to the third power times 3 to the fourth power. All right, well, in the rules of exponents, we learned that 3 to the third times 3 to the fourth, you would add your exponents and it would become 3 to the seventh. So let's look at the visual of that. Okay, 3 to the third is the same as 3 times 3 times 3. And 3 to the fourth is the same as 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. How many 3's are there total? Well, there's 7. So you can kind of visually see here why you must add your exponents. It's 3 to the 7th power. Okay, now let's look at dividing exponents. Okay, let's say we have 3 to the 8th divided by 3 to the 4th. The other way that could be written is 3 to the 8th in fraction form, so 3 to the 8th divided by 3 to the 4th. And so anyway, you can see here I've got 8 3's and 4 3's. And so 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. And 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. Okay, I guess I'm rushing too much. I'm making little mistakes. So these all reduce down to being 1. So what's left? 1, 2, 3, 4. What's left is, and I can't fit it there, so I'll just write it here, 3 to the fourth. All right, over 1. And anything over 1 is always just 3 to the fourth. So bottom line is, when you divide fractions, you can see with this visual example that 3 to the 8th divided by 3 to the fourth is going to be 3 to the 8 minus 4, which equals 3 to the fourth. Okay, let's talk about 0 power. Notice, you guys know from your past experience that 3 divided by 3, anything divided by itself is going to equal 1. It's 3 to the first. We never show 3 to the first with a 1 here exponent though. We just leave the 3 alone. But it really is 3 to the first divided by 3 to the first. And so you learned up here that you can subtract the exponent of what you're dividing. So 3 to the first minus the 1 equals 3 to the 0, which has to be 1 because we know 3 divided by 3 is always 1. And that holds true for anything divided by itself. So let's say that I have negative 8. That would be to the first power over negative 8 to the first power. Okay, it's a negative divided by a negative. Of course, it's going to become positive. But that would be negative 8 to the 1 minus 1, which is negative 8 to the 0 power equals 1. So anything to the 0 power is going to be 1. Now, what if we did not have the parentheses? What if we had negative 8 to the 0 power like this with no parentheses? Well, then that 0 power is only applying to that 8. It's only applying to that 8, and it's going to keep that negative. So it's going to be a negative 1. That 0 power goes only with the number, and so whatever this is, it will remain a negative. So it's negative 1. All right, now we've got one more thing to look at, and that's negative exponents. And I want to show the reasoning behind negative exponents. Let's say I have 3 to the 2nd power divided by 3 to the 4th power. Well, we learned here on my first sheet, I proved that 3 to the 8th divided by 3 to the 4th ends up being 3 to the 8 minus 4, which is 3 to the 4th. I showed that here. So let's keep that in mind. Now, this would be 3 times 3 divided by 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, and we can show the canceling. 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. Okay, so that equals 1 over 3 squared. Okay, but we learned in our other video we could just take our power of what is our numerator and subtract what is our denominator, 3 to the 2 minus 4, which is 3 to the negative 2. All right? And 3 to the negative 2 is the same thing as 1 divided by 3 to the positive 2. Okay? So hopefully that helps you understand that. Now, let's look at another example. Let's say I have 4 divided by 2 to the negative 2. Well, that's the same as 4 divided by 2 to the negative 2, which is the same thing as 4 divided by 1 over 2 to the positive 2, right? Which we know with fractions, it's 4 times the reciprocal of this, so you flip that over. And then that ends up being 4 times 2 times 2, which is 4 times 4, which is 16. So all that to say, this actually becomes this. So if you have a negative down here, you can change this to 4 times 2 squared over 1. Okay, so this can become this. Okay, and that's all I have today because the bell just rang. Thank you.